The education system does not reward true intelligence. That is something that a lot of people do not know. The education system does not reward true intelligence. Kids are being awarded for their ability to memorize things. You just have to be able to memorize a bunch of stuff, and you'll be awarded for that. But if you are really intelligent, you won't be awarded, because the education system is not meant to reward intelligence. We're not supposed to be intelligent. You understand that? We're supposed to be programmed a certain way. And the best way to program people to think a certain way is to tell them exactly what they need to think. What happens is that kids get brainwashed from when they are young. They get brainwashed. They're taught exactly what they need to think. And they need to prove that the brainwashing is actually working. They need to actually show that, oh, yeah, I've been brainwashed. They don't ask you what you think. Oh, what do you think about evolution? What do you think about what Charles Darwin said? We just ask you to memorize what Charles Darwin said. And ask you, oh, who came up with the following theory between Charles Darwin and Erasmus Darwin? Who gives a fuck? What does that have to do with anything, really? Who gives a fuck who came up with what? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't help me. I know a lot of people who used to get straight A's. I thought these people were really intelligent until I got a chance to sit down with them and have a conversation with them. And I realized, fuck, they are dumber than the people that weren't doing well at school. And that's because once they're done with you, your ability to think for yourself is completely dead. Like you won't be able to think for yourself once they're done with you. You just get praises from different people telling you that, yo, you are so smart, you are so disciplined, everyone must be like you, and you think, oh, I'm intelligent. No, this system is too fucked up. What it wants is people that are going to be obedient, that are going to support it. It's a self-serving system. You understand? It doesn't want people that are going to challenge it. It doesn't want people that are going to stand up for themselves. You see? So of course, kids that are able to memorize a bunch of stuff are going to be rewarded for being able to memorize a bunch of stuff. The system doesn't want to be changed. You see? It wants to stay as it is. So why would it want to reward people who can change it? It views people who can change it as a threat. It wants to remain as it is. You see? A lot of people who are getting straight A's are robots now. You talk to them and you're like, it's like I was talking to an actual robot. It wasn't like I was talking to a living being. It's like I was talking to an actual robot. This human has no ability to think critically. I mean, that's the difference between us and AI. AI can have all the information in the world, but it cannot think critically. That's the difference. Humans can think, not all of us, but what separates us from robots is that we can actually think critically. We can think rationally. We can make rational conclusions, There's a reason why depression is common among people who are really intelligent. Not people who can memorize a bunch of stuff. I'm talking about people who can really think for themselves. When you're having a conversation with these people, you realize that, oh shit, they can think for themselves. These people are not just listening to what other people are saying. They're not just memorizing a bunch of stuff. No, these people are actually thinking for themselves. They analyze what's going on and come up with their own conclusions and say, yo, this is what I think about what is going on. Depression is common among people who are able to think for themselves. Why? Because the system that governs us does not reward them for being intelligent. It actually discourages people who are intelligent from thinking. So what happens to kids that are really intelligent is that when they are really young, they're going to be more intelligent than everyone else. Like more intelligent than every other kid. They'll be that intelligent. But as they get older, they won't be able to cope. Because they will also sense that, this is wrong. Why are we being taught these things? How does this even help me? What am I gaining from learning this thing? Like, they will know. Sometimes they'll know that subconsciously. They'll just lose interest. That's why kids that are intelligent also suffer from what they call ADHD. I can't really focus. That's because what they're being taught is not interesting enough. They're just being asked to memorize stuff. No intelligent person wants to memorize stuff. It is not important for a person who's intelligent to know how many countries are in Africa. That's not useful information. You can just ask people who like to memorize stuff, or just ask Google, But there are things that you cannot ask Google. Google cannot philosophize. So what they were trying to do is turn us into robots, basically, to just turn us into something that they're going to use, We're not supposed to be humans that are actually going to be able to question things. We're just supposed to be like AI. That's why they're replacing everyone with AI. No. I don't have to know how many continents, like how many continents are on Earth. I don't have to know that. I don't have to know how many people are on Earth. I don't have to know how many languages they speak in Nigeria. I don't have to know what Adolf Hitler stood for. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make me more intelligent knowing that. You see? What's gonna make me intelligent is me being able to think for myself, knowing what I need to know. What do I need to know? What is important for me to know? What is important for me to not forget? I need to know how to view reality. That is important. How do I view reality? What has life taught me? It matters for you to know what life taught you. You cannot rely on other people to tell you what is going on in the world. You have to decide for yourself what you think is going on in the world. You can't rely on other people. But you talk to these people that are highly educated, They just tell you what other people been saying because they didn't have time to develop their existential intelligence, which is like the highest form of intelligence, because really you have to really understand where the fuck you are. You need to understand who you are, and you can only understand who you are by asking yourself the right questions. You can only understand the world by asking yourself the right questions. You cannot just assume that you know what is going on just because you've been taught to, believe things that other people believe about this reality. I like this view, man. I see why you guys are saying this place is beautiful. There's a town called Toyando. It's not very far from this town. Like it's the most beautiful town ever. Like most beautiful town I've ever seen. Like there's trees, like it's that beautiful. Whenever I tell people that the most beautiful place that I've seen in South Africa is Toyando, they don't believe me. Like no, like dude, that place is something you swear it's not even in South Africa. Like it's, dude, that place is beautiful, man. You see, that's intelligence. I'm able to think for myself. I'm telling you why I think Toyando is like the most beautiful place in South Africa. That's what matters. You must be allowed to have your own perspective. They mustn't just give you opinions as if these opinions are facts. No, we have different opinions. We can't all have the same opinions. We have different opinions based on how we are viewing this reality. The education system operates like a cult. You see, it operates like a cult. The same way that religious cults operate. They just tell people what to think. You're not going to be asked, what do you think? Why do you think we're here? How do you think everything started? What do you think we need to do to make, South Africa great? How do we end racism? What do you think we must do? What systems do you think we must implement that are actually going to help us end racism? You see, you're not being asked what you think. You're not being asked to bring out what's inside you. What is happening is that you are getting indoctrinated. Almost every day, they indoctrinate you. You're not thinking for yourself. That is why when people are asked to think for themselves, they stress a lot. Like they didn't have time to exercise their brain muscles that allow them to think. You know what I mean? Because they never got to think for themselves. So they depend on other people to tell them what is going on, instead of asking themselves what is going on and actually coming up with their own conclusions. That's how you evolve. Being able to memorize a bunch of stuff is not being intelligent at all. Like, that's actually being dumb. Believe it or not, that's not. I'm not saying, listen, and this is super important to get. I'm not saying that people who are able to memorize a bunch of stuff are dumb. I mean, just memorizing a bunch of stuff and that's it. That's all that you can do. That has nothing to do with intelligence. Because that's not really going to help you, you see? That's not really going to help you. Like, in the real world, it's not going to help you. Of course, in this system, it's going to help you because, they reward people for having been brainwashed successfully. So they'll be like, yeah, this person that's qualified to work for us because this person is brainwashed. You see, so they give you a paper that says that you've been brainwashed. You don't realize that that's what the paper says. Oh, you've been brainwashed, so now you can work for the system. That is why even when there are things that are being done that do not make sense, there are people who don't even realize that these things do not make sense. Well, they can't think for themselves. How are they going to realize that? How are they going to see when there are things that are being done that do not make sense? Is it? Like your ability to think for yourself is dead. It's completely dead. So you just believe everything that you are told, even if it doesn't make sense, and you don't even have the ability to see when you are being given information that doesn't make sense. Remember, there's this example that I gave you of that kid from the movie Gifted. This kid was so damn intelligent. She understood math. So her grandmom took her to this other professor, and he gave her a problem to solve. And she realized that there was a mistake, like the equation was wrong. So of course she couldn't solve the problem because the equation was wrong. But she didn't tell the guy that the equation was wrong. She just looked at the problem and didn't say anything. And when the professor and the grandma felt like, oh, maybe she's too young to be able to solve their problem, but she told her grandma that, yo man, the equation was wrong. That's because she was intelligent enough to see that the equation was wrong. So people are not intelligent enough to see when something is wrong. They are not intelligent enough to see when they are being given wrong information. You see? Today they're going to cut the power from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. So I want to upload this. Thank you guys. That's why it's a short video. I just have to upload it as soon as possible so that I'll publish it. Thank you.